So what happens when I have a big podcast recording session, but I don't have the luxury in my studio? I bring the studio with me, and I'm going to show you my current mobile setup. Recently, towards the end of March, we had a huge podcast recording session with a lot of people from the ONedge Studios podcast network, along with some guests. The only problem was it wasn't here in the studio where I'm set up to record multiple people at once. I have a couple different things that I can do for an on-location recording setup. Today, I'm going to show you what I did for that March session, which included 6 people. So everything starts with the computer in a recording setup, whether that's your phone, a personal handheld recorder, or what have you. I use a MacBook Pro 15-inch Retina. It runs PreSonus Studio One as my recording software of choice. There's a lot of things out there like GarageBand. As a musician, I prefer Studio One. It gives me a lot of versatility for music and for talk applications as you would have with podcasts. Next up is the recording interface. The recording interface that I like is the Focusrite, the Scarlett series. I have this one in particular is the 18i8, which is 8 inputs, 4 of which are mic inputs or allow XLR mic connections, as well as your typical tip ring sleeve connections on the backside. I really like Focusrite for their preamps, and I think the Scarlett series is second to none for the affordability of them, as well as USB. They're compatible with just about everything, PC, Mac, you name it. The main recording studio in here actually runs off an 18i20, which is just one of these, only longer, 8 inputs, plus a lot more things in the back. So basically how it works is USB cable from the laptop into the Focusrite, mics go into here, and as far as mics go, I have a few dynamic mics that I like to take with me on the road. This is the GLS Audio ES58. As you can tell, if you're into microphones at all or know anything about them, this is a complete knockoff of the Shure SM58. Only it's about half the price, and it sounds just as good for talk applications. I don't know about music. I usually use condenser mics for music. Likewise, I have the ES57 from GLS Audio, which obviously also a knockoff of the Shure SM57. So I have a handful of these, and then some that I also gave to Chris Nays of the Bacon and Nays podcast, which he is currently using on his podcast. So basically what happens, 4 cables out of the interface to the microphones. The mics go on these stands, these little desktop stands with a clip and a pop filter, which I do have a pop filter over here. So these are just relatively inexpensive. These are about $12 a piece. This is the preferred setup that I have for most of my mobile applications. It's all I need: the laptop, the interface, the microphones, the stands, the pop filters, and obviously the cables to connect all of these. So this is good for up to 4 people. Problem is that for the March podcast Podstravaganza, we need to come up with a better name for that. I don't know what to call those, but let me know in the comments. We had 6 people, and I only have 4 interfaces, so I had to get a little inventive, and that brings me to this beast. Is the Eurorack MXB 1002 from Behringer. I have had this thing for, actually the date is on here, manufacturer's date, 8/01, August of 2001. I actually bought this to do live sound for an independent local pro wrestling show, and it has stood up the test of time all these years. It's just as good as the day I got it. A lot of people would like to rag on Behringer because they're cheap, but they actually don't make this one anymore. There is a spiritual successor. I think it's called the Behringer Zenith. I'll have a link to the products that I'm using here below, and full disclosure, they will be Amazon affiliate links. So I'll have the affiliate links in the description, and then also I'll have non-affiliate links as well. If you like to support the channel, support the shows, please consider using the Amazon affiliate links. Otherwise, no big deal. So that said, let's get some stuff out of the way here. So we've got the interface here and the mixer here. So with the mixer, since I needed two more inputs. Now, what I could have done is recorded all the mics through here and just did the stereo output into a couple of the inputs here. That would have worked fine. The only thing with that is everything would have to be controlled at the mixing board, all the levels, all the EQ and all that. I wouldn't have individual tracks to edit, and I prefer to do multi-track editing, so I can control EQ for each individual speaker. The cat is snoring. Since I only needed two inputs, two additional inputs for the Focusrite here, what I ended up doing was I plugged the 5th and 6th mic into here, and I panned one of them full left, the other one, whoops, that's gain. Doesn't matter, this isn't plugged in anyway. So I took the additional two microphones 5 and 6, and I panned one fully left, fully right, and then so those would be the only two that are up. Everything else is down. And then from the main outputs, from the left channel would be just one microphone, from the right channel just the other microphone, and then I plugged those into two of the line outputs on the back. So I ended up able to get a full 6 tracks of multi-track audio, isolated tracks for everybody on the shows, with the Focusrite 18i8, which only has 4 mic inputs in the front. Some likes and dislikes about some of the products. I have no real complaints about the microphones at all. They've served me very well, and the quality is good for what we use them for. The Behringer, of course, I don't really have anything to complain about with this. It's, as I said, it serves me well. Hopefully it will serve me well for many more years to come. And then the Focusrite 18i8, as far as my likes and dislikes, I really like the preamps of the Focusrite. As I said, I like I think they're very affordable for the quality that you get, and the quality is very high. I definitely recommend Focusrite. Like I said, I have the big rack mount one, which I'll show you. I'll tour the studio at some point so you can see the rest of the equipment for the more permanent setup that I have here in this room. But this has served me well for the mobile recordings. So this is the basic. Well, it's not that basic. It's there's quite a lot of stuff here if you really break it down, because for these windscreens, things like that. So there's a lot of stuff to haul around, but in order to get a several person podcast with good quality audio that you have freedom to edit afterwards and post-production, this has been working well for me so far. So yeah, that's it. Most of the time I only have to bring the Focusrite and the laptop, the microphones and the stands. I don't normally have to bother too much with the mixing board. But if I don't have any of this stuff, or if it's a much smaller thing, like if I'm only talking to one other person at a table, then I don't even bother with the Focusrite, the mic stands and the mics at all. I just bring the laptop, and then I have a blue snowball that I just set to omnidirectional, plop it on the table, and we're good to go. We actually did some episodes of Watchers on the Couch, the beginning of whatever last season was. I guess that was season 6. One of the episodes we were in the middle of moving, and we actually recorded it in the old house with nothing in it. So it was just Sarah, Mike, and myself in front of this on a table. So this serves me pretty well too. It doesn't have a lot of gain to it, so boosting the level is a little iffy. You can get some background noise, but for the most part, this is a pretty good microphone as well. Anyway, that's it for now. Like I said, I'll have links to the products, and these are just like, I'm not necessarily, well, I am recommending the Focusrite. I do like the Focusrite. They're not a sponsor, but if Focusrite, if you're watching this and you'd like to be, I will take your money. It's just kind of the stuff that I've cobbled together over the years. It's pretty much what the majority of my setup is. There's other ways to do things, certainly. I mean, you could just have like a Zoom recorder, couple inputs on those. They actually make one that are 4 inputs, I believe. So and that records straight to a SD card. Those are pretty cool. And you could even just use your phone. And actually, I think you could probably get an adapter for this that'll take a regular USB cable down to a mini USB. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of mobile devices would support just recording to the phone with one of these. So that's another option. I will look into that because I might have just lied to you and I don't want to do that. But anyway, that's the current mobile setup that I have going for me right now. Let me know about your mobile setups if you're a podcaster or if you do any kind of mobile recording. I'm very interested to learn what I might be able to change around to get better quality stuff. What else? I don't know. What the am I doing? So if you're on YouTube, somewhere down here, I guess, is a subscribe button. Consider clicking that, and also like whatever the bell icon is to get notifications. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're not already liking the ONedge Studios Facebook page, consider that giving that a like and a follow. Also, Chris started a ONedge podcasters community where we connect with some of the listeners. We actually show you some behind the scenes pictures and things like that. So consider that giving that a look as well. But I think that's going to do it for now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. But that should do. But that should about. Me. I think that's it. That's got to be it, right? Can you think of anything else? Why am I talking to you? The camera doesn't answer you.